There's a bunch of crazy new celebrations and signature celebrations in Madden 26, and in this video I'm going to break down how to do every unique one in the game. And if you want to stay up to date on all of the latest Madden 26 news and tips, make sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon on so you never miss out on any of these important videos. They've completely redone all of the celebrations this year, and now when you score a touchdown you have access of 20 of them at any given time instead of just 4. But let's start with Justin Jefferson's signature. You can griddy into the end zone by pressing down the left trigger, right trigger, and the A button at the same time, or L2, R2, and the X button on PlayStation. And of course, once you score the touchdown, you can flick down on the right stick to just do the regular griddy touchdown celebration. And this you can now do with every player in the game. It's not just custom to Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. However, the ability to griddy into the end zone while you're running is only equipped to Justin Jefferson as his signature. Now, to do the point to the fan celebration when you score a touchdown, simply just flick up on the right analog stick and you can see Chris Olave here. This is the celebration that you will get. The next one we're going to talk about is the step back celebration, and what you do when you score is you flick the right stick to the right. They'll do like a fake step back and then get into a little dance here. Some people said this is called the trip out dance. A lot of LSU players did this last year. Kyron Lacey did it a lot. Malik Neighbors did it in the NFL as well, so you can now do that in Madden. To do the salute celebration when you score a touchdown, simply flick the right stick to the left. This is pretty simple and self-explanatory, nothing too crazy, just kind of an old classic that they put into the game. You can also do Cam Ward's signature celebration called Shake 'em Up by pressing down the RB or R1 button and down on the right stick at the same time. You can do this with any player, but of course you gotta do it with Cam Ward because that's what he's known for. He did this at Miami a lot last year. The next celebration is called Candy Karate. You get this by pressing the RB or R1 button and up on the right stick, but my old heads know this is the love don't cost a thing dance. If you know, you know. And we've seen a lot of players doing this in the league lately. It's kind of like a meme. It's kind of a funny thing from the movie if you've seen it, but they now put that into Madden 26, which I think is pretty cool. The next touchdown celebration is called At the Y. You get this by doing RB or R1 and also left on the right stick. Some people are also calling it the Trump dance, so you can make up your mind what you think it is, but you can now do this in Madden. It's a pretty funny one either way, so why not? The next celebration is called Wait For It. You get this by pressing the RB or R1 button and also right on the right stick. We saw Travis Hunter do this one in college last year too. In fact, a lot of the ones he did in college, they've put in Madden. Up next is the Reach Low Flex. You get this by pressing the left trigger or L2 button and up on the right stick, also kind of known as the Glorilla dance. We've seen that kind of go popular on TikTok over the past year. They put this in college football as well. We saw Travis Hunter do this in college last year as well. So a lot of the stuff he did, they put in this game, I guess, because he's kind of such a star that they want you to be able to use it with Travis Hunter, but you could also use it with other players as well. Up next is the Wavy Walk, which you get by pressing the left trigger or L2 button and down on the right stick, also known as Hit the Quan. Rest in peace to Rich Homie Quan. They put this in college. They've also put it in Madden. This is one of my favorite ones. We've seen a lot of players start to hit this lately after he passed away, so they had to put it in the game. Moving on, the next one is called Shake With It. You get this by pressing the left trigger or L2 button and right on the right stick. I don't know what dance this is mimicking. I can't remember, but as you can see, D-Hop doing the little dance right there. This is also one that they put in college and they've brought over to Madden. Here's a funny one. It's called He's a Dog. You get this by pressing the left trigger or L2 button and left on the right stick. This is also another one that we saw Travis Hunter do last year in college, so I think that's why they put it in the game. But I'm not gonna lie, this one's a little crazy. Even when he did it last year, I thought this one was kind of goofy, but you can do it in Madden. This next one is called Stand on Biz. You get this by pressing the LB or L1 button and up on the right stick. It's the sign language celebration that we saw DK Metcalf do last year, so they have put this in the game and you could do it with anybody in the game. Of course, you've got to have just a signature spike celebration. You get this by doing LB or L1 and down on the right stick. I mean, you got to have the spike. It's the all-time classic. Everybody does this at one point or another. Got to have that in the game. This next one is called Afterburners, which you get by pressing the LB or L1 button and right on the right stick. So kind of if you're breaking away, if you burn the defense, you're kind of wiping the smoke off your feet, I guess. So that's in the game now. Moving on to the two-step shuffle, LB or L1 plus left on the right stick, and this is just another popular dance that's been going around, and they put this in college as well, and they also put it in Madden. Why not? I'm not sure if Travis Hunter did this one last year in college. I wouldn't be surprised. He's done so many different ones, but here you go. Of course, we've got Amon-Ra St. Brown's signature headstand celebration. You get this by pressing the right trigger or R2 button and up on the right stick. You could do this with any player, but of course, St. Brown did this last year, so they had to put this in the game. Up next is the run up flex. You get this by pressing right trigger or R2 and then right on the right stick. I've seen a lot of people call this the Kevin Gates dance too. I mean, I guess that could be a thing. We've seen him do this a lot. So, you know, call it what you want, but this is in the game. This next one is called All Together Now. You get this by pressing right trigger or R2 and then left on the right stick, also known as the Costco's guy dance. We saw this in college. They brought it to Madden as well. So kind of just a funny one that you could do that's kind of like more of a meme than anything else, but pretty cool to include it in the game. And of course, we've got the fancy flip, which is a funny one. Right trigger or R2 plus down on the right stick, and you will do kind of like this somersault backflip. I don't know if Devontae Adams would be doing this in real life, but it looks funny when players do it in the game. Now also, when you score touchdowns and do any of these celebrations, a lot of times if your teammates are around, they will also kind of join in and then it'll trigger a team celebration as well. And there's a ton of different ones like these. You're going to always get a random one. So here's one of the cooler ones right here, kind of running off with the bag, but that will happen a lot if your teammates are around. And we've got to talk about Saquon's signature run celebration. Now, whenever you're running into the end zone, if you're doing like the Griddy into the end zone with Justin Jefferson or this one here with Barkley, you want to hold down left trigger, right trigger, and the A button on Xbox. If you're on PlayStation, you hold down L2, R2, and the X button, and that's how you trigger signature runs into the end zone. And you can also see here at the end of the Saquon Barkley one, if you go near the end zone wall and don't do any other celebration, he will throw the ball at the back of the wall. There are now hot spots like this, which we'll talk about in a second. Now also, just in general, when you're running into the end zone, you can always do left trigger, right trigger, A button on Xbox, or L2, R2, X button on PlayStation, and they'll do a variety of high steps, putting the ball through their legs. There's a whole different variety of these, but some players have their signature ones. Like Tyreek Hill, for example, when you hold those buttons down, he's going to throw up the deuces like he's been doing for many, many years now. That's been in the game, but it's still there for Tyreek. And of course, you've got Travis Kelce, same thing. You're going to hold down those same button combinations and he will do his signature run in. So if a player has a signature like Justin Jefferson, Kelce, Barkley, they'll do theirs. If not, they'll just do one of the generic ones that's in the game. Now, speaking of those hot spots, if you score a touchdown, again, like I said, you could go to the back wall, and what they'll usually do is throw the ball at the wall like this. If you go to the back corner pylon, a lot of times what the player will do is actually throw the ball into the crowd and kind of blow them a little kiss. So that is another cool one. They're doing the hot spots like they used to do back in the day. So not only do you have the different combinations on the sticks and the triggers, you can also do the different hot spots as well. And one of the best hot spots, of course, if you're playing with Green Bay and Lambeau and you run to the back wall, they're going to actually do the Lambeau leap. Now, this was in the game a few years ago. Not sure why they took it out, but now they have brought it back in, but made it exclusive to just Green Bay. So, I mean, you got to have this in the game. This is one of the most famous Green Bay traditions. So now, if you just simply run to that back wall, you could do this with Green Bay in Madden 26. Here's another one here from Brian Thomas, kind of going near the goalpost, and sometimes they'll just drop the ball and do another little dance that you can't do on the regular celebration combo. So there's a whole bunch of different kinds of them. If you run to the goalpost itself, there's a bunch of different variations where the player will jump up and smack the goalpost. I believe there's even some where they'll box the kind of pad under the goalpost, but I haven't been able to trigger that one myself. Now, another thing you could do is you could hold down both triggers in the A button or L2, R2, and X on PlayStation right as you're crossing the goal line. And when you do it right as you're crossing the goal line, they'll do different things like flip into the end zone as you just saw from Travis Hunter, or take a bow right here with CeeDee Lamb just like that. This one right here from Brian Thomas, I'm not sure what he's doing, but again, if you hold down those button combinations of L2, R2, and X, or left trigger, right trigger, and A, they will just kind of get an animation that carries them into the end zone, and they'll just do different types of celebrations that aren't equipped to the regular celebration wheel with the analog sticks and stuff like that. So really, you just want to kind of hold this down right about the 2-1 yard line right as you're about to cross, and that's how you can trigger these different styles of celebration. And of course, when you score first downs and stuff like that, or get interceptions, you could go up, down, left, or right on the right stick, and there's just different things you could do for first downs. Obviously, there's a ton of different first down points that they put into the game, as you could see here with Jahmyr Gibbs. So again, when you have a successful first down or an interception, up, down, left, or right on the right stick, those are the only options you have, and they will do a variety of different things to celebrate, like flexing or whatever the case may be. And of course, you can always just simply do a dive into the end zone when you get inside the 5. You could tap the X button on Xbox or the square button on PlayStation, and they'll do kind of a fancy dive into the end zone and do some other added on celebrations with that are just unique to diving into the end zone. So that's always kind of a favorite to do from time to time as well. Now, if you want to see some other really cool stuff about Madden 26, make sure to check out this video right here on the screen.